So what is up, amigos? Hope you're doing awesome. My name is Maddie and welcome back to my channel. I watched War 2 this weekend in theaters. It is a disaster, and I'm not going to soften that statement. This is a film from Yash Raj Films, one of the richest and most experienced production houses in India. The same banner that gave us War, Pathan and Tiger, which were decent as part of their so-called unnecessary spy universe. This one is directed by Ayan Mukerji, who took years to put this together. It stars Hrithik Roshan, Junior NTR, Kiara Advani, Anil Kapoor, some of the biggest names in Indian cinema today. It had a massive budget, international hype, and the promise of taking the spy universe to the next level. It was promoted as the big Independence Day weekend release with premium formats like IMAX and 4DX, and ticket prices were hiked to cash in on the occasion. Now, with all that going for it, you expect a thrilling, high-quality action film. You expect something that respects your intelligence, gives you characters worth caring about, delivers believable action, and uses its budget to create an immersive cinematic experience. What we got instead is a half-hearted, plastic-looking, badly written, shockingly underwhelming product that feels like nobody literally, not the director, not the writers, not the actors, really cared about making a good film. It is lazy filmmaking dressed up with stars and marketing, and frankly, it's insulting to the audience. So the story picks up after the events of War, with Kabir, played by Hrithik Roshan, returning for another high-stakes mission. The film introduces Junior NTR as Vikram, a dangerous but skilled operative who operates outside the usual rules. Their paths cross when a terrorist threat puts our country at risk, leading to uneasy alliances, betrayals, and a globe-trotting chase to stop the mastermind or the syndicate behind the chaos. Now, Kiara Advani plays the female lead caught in the middle of this dangerous game. On paper, this setup could work. The spy universe is already established, so you don't need long introductions. You just need tight storytelling, exciting set pieces, and a clear emotional hook. Instead, the screenplay is flat. The first act tries to set up the rivalry between Kabir and Vikram, but it's rushed and superficial. The second act, which should be the most exciting, is padded with overlong, fake-looking action sequences that add nothing to the story. The final act tries to throw in big reveals and dramatic moments, but they are predictable and fail to create any tension at all. There's no moment where you feel invested in the mission or the characters. And the action, the supposed highlight of a film like this, is not just bad, it is outright embarrassing. The much advertised train sequence looks like a low-effort CGI reel. The movements don't match real physics, and you can see it was all shot on green screen. Then there's the infamous boat sequence. A boat somehow ends up on a racetrack, and it is controlled with a steering wheel as if it's a car. There's no explanation, no attempt to make it believable. It is just thrown in as if logic doesn't matter. The flight scene is even worse. The plane, the sky, the interiors all look fake. The action choreography is generic, and the VFX make it look like a video game from decades ago. Another one of the biggest problems is that there are no real locations. Almost everything seems to be shot in a studio against green screens, or at least it seems like it. That's fine if your VFX are top tier, but here they are nowhere near the standard expected from a big budget 2025 release. The lack of real-world texture makes the whole film feel lifeless. When you watch an action film like Mission Impossible, the locations add to the thrill. Here you feel like the actors never left the set. The dialogues are another major issue. Instead of genuine patriotism, we get hollow jingoism and cringe. Example, there's a conversation about Kabir's motive for going rogue and the mice term. Mice is usually used in human intelligence, where the motive is either money, ideology, coercion, or ego. But when they can't find one for Kabir, Junior NTR says, "Jahan चूहे नहीं होते वहां बिल्ली होती है." There's another one by Ashutosh Rana to Hrithik Roshan. He says, "कली को मिटाने के लिए कल्कि बनना पड़ेगा." And another serious conversation where NTR tells a colleague to send the location via WhatsApp, and he's supposed to be a raw spy. They just simply sound ridiculous. Forget heroic. They don't even evoke pride. They don't raise goosebumps. They just make you cringe. A patriotic spy film should make you believe in the stakes and the cause. Here it feels like the writers just threw in random words without thinking about meaning or impact. Now, performance-wise, in my opinion at least, only Junior NTR comes out looking good. Even with a bad script, he brings intensity and weight to his roles. Now, I'm saying this despite a lot of reviewers saying, "Oh, Hrithik looks like a Greek god, NTR looks really bad." No, his intensity is spot on. His presence presence on screen is commanding, and he actually looks like he cares about what's happening. Unlike Hrithik's character, who's just pouting through the entire film and just shaking his head. I mean, the vibrator effect that he has on his face is exhausting now. Junior NTR's character's BGM, called Shaitan, is in Telugu, and it is actually the only musical element in the film that stands out. And ironically, it's in a Hindi film. A Telugu BGM which is good in a Hindi film. Believe that. That should tell you everything about how weak the rest of the music is. Hrithik Roshan, again, usually dependable in action roles, but I'm exhausted with those looks. He looks uninterested here. His performance feels like he's just going through the motions with a pout, as he said earlier. Kiara Advani is also completely wasted. Her character has no real importance, no memorable scenes, and no impact on the plot. Well, there were rumors about her bikini scene being trimmed out from the final cut by the censor board, but for anyone who went into the theater only for that, don't worry, it is there. You can watch her if you want. But her and the rest of the supporting cast, including Anil Kapoor, are forgettable. Technically too, the film is weak across the board. The cinematography does nothing to hide the fake sets and poor VFX. The editing is sloppy, with action scenes dragging far too long and emotional beats cut short. The background score, apart from NTR's theme, as I said, is dull and fails to add any tension or excitement to the scenes. For a film that had years in production, it looks and feels rushed. And then there's the post-credits, or perhaps the mid-credit scene, if you want to call that, the one thing that could have at least left the fans with some excitement for the future. Instead, it's awkward, poorly written, and badly acted. Hrithik and NTR appear together, but the scene feels like an afterthought with no energy or creativity. It doesn't build anticipation, it actually makes you less interested in whatever YRF plans to do next with this so-called spy universe. And to make matters worse, all this is being served to the audience at hiked ticket prices. For many people, watching a film in theaters is already expensive when you include travel, snacks, and parking. Increasing ticket rates for a film this poor is not just a bad decision, it is disrespectful. It shows a complete lack of regard for the audience's time and money. What makes War 2 even more frustrating is that it had every possible advantage. Big stars, big budget, big franchise, years of preparation, and yet the end result is something that feels like it was thrown together without care. I really want to ask Adi, did he even care to read the script? This isn't about nitpicking small flaws. This is about a film failing at its most basic job: to entertain, to engage, and to justify its existence. My final take: War 2 could have been the next big step for Bollywood action cinema. It was touted to be, at least, but my hopes had already tanked when I watched the trailer a few weeks ago. It could have been a benchmark for how India can make globally appealing spy thrillers. Instead, it's a case study in how to waste talent, money, and audience's trust. The action is fake, poorly executed, the VFX outdated and cheap, the story is shallow, the dialogue's embarrassing, and the emotional core is missing. The performances, apart from Junior NTR, is flat. The music, forgettable. The direction lacks any vision and polish. Even the post-credit scene is a waste of time. What's worse is the arrogance of releasing something this bad while charging audiences extra for the privilege of watching it. This is not how you treat viewers who have supported your franchise and kept the so-called spy universe alive. If YRF and Ayan Mukerji think they can keep selling hype instead of quality, they're in for a rude awakening. My advice to my viewers is simple: don't waste your money, don't watch it in theaters, and when it comes to streaming, think twice before giving it your time. There is nothing here worth sitting through. Bollywood can and must do better, but it will only happen if audiences stop accepting mediocrity wrapped in big budgets and big names. War 2 proves that without good writing, genuine effort, and respect for the audience, all the marketing in the world means nothing. This film is not just a disappointment, it's a warning sign for the entire industry. I'm sorry about my furious rant today, but this was coming. Thank you for watching us today. Take care, stay awesome, and bye-bye.